Hello YouTube friends. Well, it's been a while since I've been on YouTube. As most of you know that have watched me for a while, I come and go. And I guess the last video I made was the one about digging in the dirt. It's been about a month ago, I guess. But I'm back. I've been busy again. You know how my schedule goes. And I've not got a lot of work done on the barn. I show you every so often my progress on my barn up behind the house. My helper has kind of gotten tied up doing other things, and I've gotten a little lazy. So we haven't progressed a whole lot since my last video about the barn. I think probably another day or two and we'll have all the siding on the barn and pretty well be done with that. And after that, I still have to get it painted, caulked and painted. Still have to finish my upstairs room, some sheetrock. Still have some to build some workbenches for downstairs and do a lot of cleanup and getting everything that I've moved out there in better order. So still have some to do. And of course, I still have the yard to do and my concrete drive to do and things like that. So there's still plenty to do in the project around the house. And I hope to kind of work that as we go into summer. I believe today is June 8th, 2010. So we're about 2 weeks from the first day of summer. I think summer solstice is about June 20th or 21st, I guess. That's about 2 weeks away. And it's already gotten hot here in northeastern Alabama. I think today it's going to be up around 90 degrees. Humidity is about 75%, and we're getting into our cycle. This time of the year we get into a cycle of having a thunderstorm almost every afternoon, and those thunderstorms have kind of dampened working on the barn. Have literally dampened. We've had some real terrific rains around here in the last few weeks. I think about the next 7 days, late in the afternoon, we're supposed to have a thunderstorm. So you can get out and work in the morning, but by mid-afternoon you have to plan on being out all of the rain and the storms. So that's what's going on. I'm still working 30 hours a week. I'm on the way home from work right now, making a video here in the truck. Riding by myself this week. As I've said before, I usually ride with my oldest son. He works at the same place I work at in Huntsville, Alabama. I live in Scottsboro, Alabama. But he's over in London, England for 2 weeks. And that's something I wanted to talk about a little bit. I know some of my UK viewers and friends in the UK may feel a little ignored, because I was in the UK for about 10 days from May 18th to May 28th over there on a family trip. Son has learned enough about that area around London and in the UK to invite us over to get shown around. So me, my wife, my son's wife, and her father made a 10-day trip to London over the last month. Had a terrific time. It's my first time to go to Europe, and we stayed first 7 days. We stayed at a place called the Charing Cross Hotel, just right down in the middle of downtown London. An old hotel was built in about 1860, mid-1860s I guess it was, and it's been restored. Still a beautiful, beautiful hotel, nice place to stay. And then the last 3 or 4 days we were there, we moved out. We wanted to spend the first few days in London and see what we could see there. And then the last few days we moved out to Gatwick Airport. There's a hotel out there called, it's a modern hotel called the Sofitel, I believe it's called. So we moved out there, and it's easier to make day trips around London from that area and get out of so you don't have to go back into the downtown traffic every day. So we did spend a few days out there. And I guess I ought to apologize to the friends and viewers I have there in the UK. You know, I would have liked to have gone around and seen every one of you while I was there. But being a family trip and having to, and spending time with the rest of the family and going places they went, I had very little spare time. I did think about all of you. I would now I'll probably leave somebody out, but I would have liked to have gotten around and visited with Peter, Geriatric 1927, I believe his YouTube name is. Paul UK, Bill. I would like to have visited with Bill, and there's Frank, Chris, one of my reliable viewers that communicates with me quite a bit. Mick. I think Mick lives there in, I believe, a little small town called Shantley, I think is the name of his town. And I wrote Mick an email this morning. We correspond back and forth some, and I wrote Mick this morning. And hello, Mick, and hello to the rest of you guys. Again, I apologize for not getting to visit while I was there. But I think I passed very near Mick's hometown there. Like I say, we were staying in Chatwick Airport, and we drove one day. We took a day trip down to Canterbury, and I think in that they're called their big 4 lanes over there, M25, M20, different names for their, I guess, their motorways is what they're calling them. And we went very close to, I think, where Mick lives down that way. We spent a lot of time down in the Kent area, and we just had a terrific time. Great Britain, beautiful, beautiful country, friendly people. Had some of your good food. Of course, had fish and chips. Some things we don't normally get here in northern Alabama or in the U.S. Had some meals that the main part of the meal was duck or lamb. That's kind of unusual for me. We eat very little duck and lamb here. Had some of those. Had one meal called a plowman's meal, and it was cheese and bread and greens, and I think it represented what maybe some of the old-time English farm workers might have had, the type meal they might have had. That was very good. Had some seafood, and it was all very good. I found the food very enjoyable. And we got around, and I'm not a real big beer or ale or wine or alcohol drinker, but I do drink it at times, and I did get to enjoy some of the ales and beer in London and the surrounding area. I found that quite enjoyable. In my area here, it's just now got where you can go down in the afternoon and go to a bar and maybe have a beer or some wine, and go to a restaurant and have some wine. But one of the things I noticed unusual about London was after work every day, people would go down to the local pub and we ate and drank in some beautiful pubs there in London and other places around England. And people would go down and get a pint. Around here we don't call it, we get a mug of beer or a glass of beer, but there it's a pint of beer. Have a pint, and they would, both men and women both, would go into the pubs and get their pint and walk back out on the sidewalk, and there would be sometimes hundreds of people just jamming the sidewalks out in front of the pubs, drinking their pint after work. I guess it's their way of socializing, but I found that something you don't see around here. Actually, in this area, it's illegal to take your alcoholic drink, and walk outside and drink it outside of a restaurant or a bar or a pub. You'd be arrested here for doing that. So I found that quite unusual. Of course, the traffic and the roads are just unbelievable. Here, as you can see out the window, and you've seen on some of my other videos, we have huge, wide open, wide roads. Even our country roads are quite wide. And I was somewhat horrified on our taxi ride into London. Narrow streets, heavy traffic, a lot of buses, a lot of cabs, a lot of bicycles, a lot of pedestrians, and it seems that there were several close calls just in our taxi ride from where we got off the train going to downtown London till we got to the hotel we were going to. And it seemed that the taxi driver had little hand signals. If a motorcycle was in the way, or a pedestrian was in the way, or a bus was in the way, he kind of did his hands, and everybody understood, here I come, and you better not be in that area. I didn't see anybody run over at the time. Any time we were in London, we came close ourselves sometimes, not being out of the street at the right time. These little taxis just fly around London. And of course, everybody driving on the left side of the road, the steering wheel on the right side of the road. And that was to a person that has never been there and done that. That drives on the right side of the road and the steering wheel's on the left side of the car. That was quite exciting. And we got on some of the country roads out in rural UK, and I was amazed about how narrow the roads were, how close the hedges and the buildings were to the road, how high the hedges were. And it was quite an experience driving on some of the small lanes and roads out in rural UK. My son did all the driving. He'd got used to driving over there, and we had a nice car, had a big black Mercedes we had as a rental car. But I wouldn't have dared to have taken that car and driven anywhere out of a parking lot in that country. It would just been a disaster if I tried to drive. So my son did all the driving. And I know this thing's stretching out. You know, I'm always long-winded when I get in front of the camera and can't help it. So it's probably going to draw out. I can't tell on the screen how long it's gone already, but it's gone on a pretty good while. Because I won't hold it a long time. But anyway, we had a real good time in our trip to the UK. We got out some places we got to go. We went down to Canterbury and saw that fantastic cathedral at Canterbury. It's beyond description in my ability to describe a building, and its grandeur and its size, how huge it was, and its beauty. It was just a fantastic place. We went to the Roman baths. Any of this, you guys in UK may probably know about these places. Other viewers may not know about it, have heard about it. You can always look it up on the internet. We went to the Roman baths, went by Stonehenge, and we saw several castles. One that pops to mind is Leeds Castle. And we saw some beautiful landscape grounds around these castles. Some of those grounds were 500 acres of landscaping and beautiful trees and flowers and rhododendron and the rock walls, the rock work all over England and in London and elsewhere. We went out in the country around London. The rock work just amazed me, and rock walls and rock buildings, and just amazing work. Trying to think of some other places we went, but we had a good time. Didn't get to see all the places we would have liked to, but in those 10 days we got up early and stayed up late, and still got to see a whole lot of things around the area and had a great time. And that airplane trip, coming back, we left London and flew non-stop over and back down to Atlanta, Georgia. In Atlanta, Georgia's the next state over from Alabama, if you're not familiar with the Southeast. And the Atlanta area is a few hundred miles down to the southeast of where I am right now, where I live. We had a small flight out of Huntsville to Atlanta. Coming back, flew back into Atlanta. And of course, being this time of the year in the southeast, there was a thunderstorm. We got off of the big plane, got through customs and went through all that, and got on a small plane. It would have been about a 40-minute flight from Huntsville from Atlanta back into Huntsville. We sat on the runway for 3.5 hours waiting for the weather to clear. Planes were backed up, and the thunderstorm lasted for a long time. Finally, the pilot said, we've got to go in, and some kind of new airline rule they have, we've got to unload. We'll cancel this flight because of the weather. So there we were in Atlanta, 4 of us, trying to get home. He said the next flight will be tomorrow morning. And we were all tired and wanting to come home. And I said, let's go down and see if we can find a rental car. It's about I guess a 2.5 hour drive from there to here. But we found a rental car. Only could get a round trip. So I drove the other 3 family members home that night. Spent the night myself at home. Got up the next morning, got in the rental car, and drove back to the Atlanta airport and I had a scheduled flight to leave Atlanta to come back to Huntsville about midday. That would have been on Saturday. So I got back over there, got down, returned the rental car, got down ready for my flight, got in at the gate where I would get on the plane, waited for the plane to arrive, and about 5 minutes before that flight was supposed to take off, they announced on the PA system that that flight had been canceled. There would not be another flight. I could not get on another flight until the next day, which would have been Sunday. But there were some more flights and I could get on standby. As I went through the process, got on standby for 2 flights and made sure I had tickets for the next day to come home on the other flight. And I would appear back at the airport. I had to spend the night. I missed the first flight that night by, I think, 1 seat getting on a standby flight. They gave me a voucher to go to a local motel, where I spent the night. Went back over to the airport next morning, got on another standby, and I think it was about another one person. If one person not missed that flight, I wouldn't have got on that flight as a stand Sunday morning to fly back to Huntsville. So I got back in Huntsville midday on Sunday after spending 2 days in Atlanta trying to get a flight. And I was so tired. You can imagine after the long trip from London to Atlanta, me driving the rest of the family home, driving back to Atlanta. I even tried, while I was in Atlanta, tried to get another rental car, couldn't get one. I tried to get a bus out of Atlanta, couldn't get a bus out of Atlanta. So I finally got that flight home on Sunday midday, Sunday afternoon, and went straight home, went straight to bed. I think I slept for all day. But anyway, I've stretched this thing way out, and I don't know how good it's recorded. It's kind of dark here in the truck. Anyway, it's good to see you back on YouTube, and I constantly have these plans to start making more regular videos here on YouTube. I get emails from some of the guys and ladies that watch and say, when are you going to make another YouTube video? And I say soon, and sometimes I don't get to. But I really plan to start making more than what I have. I really enjoy this when I do it. And sometimes it's hard to find the time, but I hope to start doing it more often. And since I've stretched this thing out this long, I might as well go a little longer. I've noticed something odd in the last, I guess it's been the last week and a half. There's something going on about subscribers. It seems like there's a group, a club, or all these subscribers don't fit the mold to people who normally subscribe to me. And I've gotten, I guess, a couple of dozen over the last week or two new subscribers, but their pages are similar. It seems like their age and interest is similar. And I think there may be a contest going on to see who can get subscribed to, can subscribe to the most, or get return subscriptions or something like that. Now, you folks that have joined me and maybe watching this video, I'm glad to have you watch it, but it's something untypical going on there. I think my number of subscribers now is up to about, I guess it's near 1,100 with all these new ones lately. I passed 1,000 about a month ago, and I've gained some. I gain a few every week, and then this kind of influx over the last few days. Anyway, I thought I'd mention that. I'd be interested to know if any of you other YouTubers that normally watch me have had that same thing happen, where that you're getting more subscribers than normal, or maybe unusual subscribers. And maybe it's just sometimes I've noticed in the past, if I have a video that gets featured somewhere for some reason, you'll pick up a group of subscribers maybe from that feature. Maybe that's all it is, that I've been featured on some kind of page or somewhere on YouTube or the internet, and those people are for whatever reason subscribing. Anyway, if you're a new subscriber, I'm glad to have you for whatever reason. And you old subscribers and people have been writing me lately and wondering where I was, and And I really enjoy hearing from everybody. If you ever want to write me an email or do a response video, I'm always pleased when somebody does that. I like the communication part of YouTube. I like the friends I've made on YouTube. I had a gentleman come and visit me last week, Bruce from Minnesota, that found me on YouTube, and he had family in this area, and he got in touch and came in, and we got to spend about a half a day together. I kind of showed him around the area. He was interested in the making photographs of some of our creeks and some of our natural things in this area. So Bruce, if you're watching, it was good to meet you. Glad we got in touch. We had a little bad luck there at the end and didn't get to. We were going to spend a day together on Saturday, and or at least part of the day, and we had an accident in the family and kind of changed my plans, so we didn't get to do that. But anyway, I've gone on long enough. I'm almost home, and I don't know how long I've talked. It's going to take forever to upload this thing. I've been trying to do my things I don't really do them in real high quality HD. I have a little HD camera here, a little Sony HD camera that'll do very high quality. But I've found that as long as I make my videos, it takes a long time to process them. It takes a long time to upload them. So the last one I uploaded, I found kind of a happy go-between of real high quality and not so long to upload the video. If I can remember how I did that, I'll probably upload this one the same way. With my connection at home, it just takes too long to upload an HD video, especially when they're 15-20 minutes long like some of mine are. Anyway, I'm going to get off here. I guess I'm within 3 or 4 miles of home right now. Good to be back on. Contact me anytime you want to, any of you, and I appreciate you watching. And so I thought the other day when I was in the UK, it was like it was almost not just friends, but almost family. I felt some of the people I met here on the YouTube. And when I went to UK, I felt bad about not going around and seeing some of the family members. At least I had that thought in my mind. So I guess we're a YouTube family. I saw the other day we got another South Tube laying down in Atlanta before long. I may try to go down to that thing. I think I went to the first South Tube and haven't been back since. I may try to get down there and see some of the local folks that make that gathering. I did get to meet Paul from the UK and Sue from the UK on that last one down there, and several other people around this area. I met Tube Granny and Lemonette and some of those people that were down there. Country Comes to Town. I don't know if he was there or not. Zipster was there and a few more. I can't remember everybody. And again, if I don't mention you, nothing intended. I just have forgotten everybody I met. But I might get to go down and make that thing. Got to find out when it is. It's within the next month, I think. Anyway, I'm just about to cross over an overpass here and turn off to go to the house. So I'm going to shut this thing down, and I've got a red light to go through up here, a traffic light to work through, and I'll talk to you later. And this video may be a record for length. I don't know. It's a long one, I know. Sorry to have held it for so long, but I'll see you later. Good night.